Hello and welcome Year 3. Today we're going to be looking at AM and PM as well as digital time. Now it's not as scary as I've made it sound there. It's just how many hours and then how many minutes past that hour. It's a bit like pounds and pence. Hours and then minutes past. So this time we don't need to worry about minutes too at all. We're just doing the hours and then the minutes past. So let's look at an example together. In this example, the hour, which it has last been, has been 7. You can tell because of where the short hour hand has gone past. It has gone past the 7, so we know it's 7. And then the minutes, we look round the clock, the minutes, long minute hand. The minutes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we've got 7 hours and 25 minutes. So the time is 7:25. Next example. In this example, the short hour hand has recently gone past the 8. So our hours are going to be 8. How many minutes have we got? Count round. 5, 10, 11, 12. So it's 12 minutes past 8 or 8 hours and 12 minutes. So in digital time, we would write that 8:12. 8 hours and 12 minutes, 8:12. New example. Okay, in this example, the short hour hand is actually really near the 10, but it hasn't got there yet. So we don't worry about that. We only count things that have already happened in digital time. So the last hour, which actually happened in this example, was 9 o'clock. So we know there have been 9 hours and an amount of minutes. So it's 9 something. Let's count round the minutes. Remember, we don't need to worry about minutes too for digital time. We just count how many minutes there are. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So there have been 9 hours and 55 minutes. So in digital time, that would be 9:55. Last example. In this example, the short hour hand is pointing at the 3. The long minute hand is pointing straight up. So we know it's an o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. So it's 3 hours and no minutes. Just like when you're using money and you have to record how many pence there are, even if there aren't any, it's the same with digital time and minutes. You have to record how many minutes there are, even if there aren't any. So in this example, it's 3 hours and no minutes. So 3:00. Let's look at AM and PM. You may have heard these terms before. AM in the morning, PM in the afternoon and the evening. But what exactly do they mean? Well, I'll handle this one. AM just means ante meridiem, which is Latin for before midday. PM means post meridiem, which is Latin for after midday. So AM just means before midday and PM means after midday. Thanks, me. You're welcome. Midday is the middle of the day, the time when the sun is at its highest point in the sky. Noon, 12 o'clock, lunchtime. So if we look at AM, we'll wake up maybe about 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock in the morning. So 7 hours, 00 minutes AM. Then normally you come into school and you'd be at school for 8:35. 8 hours and 35 minutes AM. Going round some more, it gets to lunchtime. This is where things change. At lunchtime, it goes from being before midday to after midday. So it changes from AM to PM. So lunchtime is 12 PM. A little bit further on in the day, gets to 3:20 p.m., 3 hours and 20 minutes after midday. And that would normally be home time from school. The day goes on, it keeps going round the PM, and it turns into 7 hours and 00 minutes, 7 p.m. in the evening. Maybe you're getting a bit tired, and it's time about now to start going to bed. The night goes on until it gets to midnight. Now, if midday, lunchtime, was 12 p.m, what do you think midnight will be? Midnight will be 12 a.m. Midnight is where the AM starts. And then time goes through the AMs, 1 a.m, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m, 6 a.m, until it's 7 a.m. and your alarm goes off. You leap out of bed, ready for a new day. So AM and PM, quite simple really. AM is before midday, it's the midday, and it becomes 12 p.m. and then it's PM times all the way around till midnight, 12 a.m, back PM times, 12 p.m, then PM times, 12 a.m. And digital time, not really too complicated. You just need to measure how many hours and how many minutes have been. So last time, here's an example. How many hours has it been? What was the last o'clock? Well, last of all, it was 4 o'clock. So it's been 4 hours. And how many minutes? Count round: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So it has been 4 hours and 40 minutes. So in digital time, that would be 4:40. Thank you for popping in today. Please have a look at the worksheets I've made for our class page to make sure that you understand these things and that it is going in. If you need to, you can always come back and look through the examples on the video again. This video marks more or less the end of everything that you should need to know by the end of year 3 to do with time. So well done, you have made it. If you manage to get this digital time down, you have mastered time. You have become time lords. Remember to look after each other and to be kind to each other. That's all for now.